In this video, I'm going to give you a few tips to help you stand out from the other independent artists on the internet. What's up guys, Brandon here from KDMR Music, the channel making you a more successful musician. Now, if you're new around here, I do videos every single week about music marketing, music business strategies, and education to help you go further in your music career. If you're interested in that type of content, you should hit that subscribe button, then tap the bell icon so that you're notified when I post new videos. Now that all that's out of the way and the introduction is done, let's talk. Let's talk for a little bit, right? Now, if you're watching this channel, chances are you're an independent musician. You're not signed to a label or anything, but your goal is to have a successful music career. Some of you have the goal to be a major label artist, right? You want to be the next Drake or the next Beyonce or, whatever star you aspire to be like, right? And others of you, you don't particularly care if you have the spotlight as long as you have the financial resources to do what you want to do, and that's make music full-time with your bills paid and without being hungry, right? Either way, in order to do those things, there's something that you've got to do, and that is stand out from the crowd, right? You've got to stand out from everyone else on the internet saying that they're a musician, right? And it seems like every day the pool gets larger and larger and larger, right? As technology grows, there are different softwares, different services that allow, it seems like, anyone to make music, and anyone can make music that sounds decent enough to garner a fan base. And so it can feel like, man, I am one of 85 million people that wants to be a musician. How can I separate myself from everyone else who maybe doesn't take it as seriously or who just isn't as good? So I wanted to give you 4 tips to help you stand out from everyone else that's on the internet trying to be a musician. Now, the first thing that's going to help you stand out from all the other musicians out there on the internet is the sound of your music itself, right? You want to make sure that your music sounds professional, that it's written well, it's performed well, and it's mixed well. Now, there are a lot of services out there that you can use to help with that, right? You can take a Skillshare class, you can use melodics to get better or more proficient at actually making music. But then there's third-party softwares that you can use, like Lander, where you can upload your MP3 file and get a quick master on it, right? Something as simple as that will help you stand out from the guy making music in his garage who doesn't really know anything about mixing and mastering, and they just record to a 2-track and move on, right? Have your music professionally mixed. Now, you can find an engineer in your area. Most engineers will do your songs for under $100 per track. And it's worth it. It is worth that price to make sure that your song sounds good enough to go on the radio if that's your goal. Or if you want it to be on a Spotify playlist. You don't want to have, a Drake song play and then your song sounds super weak or squashed or muddy in comparison. So, the first thing you need to do to stand out from all the other artists in your hometown and on the internet is to make professional sounding music. Now, the next thing that's going to help you stand out, and it seems obvious, but taking professional pictures. Now, I don't mean that you got to get a full-time photographer to follow you around all the time, but in today's internet, right, in today's world, it's all about visibility. And so there's always, things calling for our attention. We've got social media that you got to post on every day, a few times a day even, right? You've got press releases, you've got articles, you've got bloggers that are going to want to reach out to you. And the worst thing that they can do is stumble on your profile and find a bunch of really low res, not well put together photos and videos on your page. So you can go a long way toward establishing credibility as a musician just by hiring a photographer to do a few photo shoots. Or if you don't have the money to hire a photographer, then take your friend and you guys go out to a bunch of locations and you can actually shoot really, really good quality photos just with an iPhone. Just turn the portrait mode on, right? Put some thought into the composition of your photos. Put some thought into the outfits. Put some thought into the poses that you're going to be in, right? And along those same lines as professional photos, you also want to have professional videos every now and then. There's nothing better than going to a show and performing and that performance going well, and then being able to go to social media a few days later and say, hey, here's the video recap. You don't want to miss the next one, right? It doesn't take a lot of time, effort, or money to shoot videos like that. It just takes some thought put in beforehand so that you can curate that content. And that leads me right into my next point. So another thing that you can do to stand out from other artists in your area is to have a very well curated social media page. Right now, Instagram is all the rage among musicians, right? But it's not the only platform out there. There's still TikTok, there's Facebook, and those are probably the big ones. No one's really doing Snapchat as much anymore, right? But if you're going to be on a platform that is just so centered on the aesthetic, then you need to be putting thought into what you're putting on there. It's not enough just to have professional photos, but you also want to post them in a way that is visually pleasing, right? Now, I'm not saying you got to do that thing where all the posts on your grid are a certain color or they match up with every different day of the week. That's a little bit of an older strategy that doesn't necessarily go as far. But you do still want to think of what is the overall feel people are going to get when they scroll on my Instagram. Are they going to see me in my element? Are they going to see professional looking photos? Are they going to see a certain color palette, right? Am I using certain tones? Does it switch up with the seasons? Does it switch up based on the weeks, right? Can they scroll on your page and learn more of a story and see a progression? That's something that you want to think about, and that's something you want to put effort into while you're creating content for social media. So that's my third tip. Make sure that your social media is well curated so that when people discover you, whether it's fans or potential gatekeepers in the industry, they can look very quickly on your social media and see what you're all about. That's absolutely going to help you stand out from everyone else who's just posting random things on their profiles. Now, the last tip I have for you to stand out from other musicians is one, to have a website, but also to have a clean and functioning website. Now, it used to be that in order to have a good website, you needed to hire a web designer or you needed to spend hours learning how to use WordPress or Wix or another website designer. Those days are long gone. Now, if you want to be super technical, you can grab a WordPress theme and spend a few hours installing it and be good to go. But the easier thing to do, and what I recommend for most musicians starting out, is to just set up an account on Squarespace. Squarespace is about $20 to $30 a month, and they have a bunch of templates that you can use, and they all look good right out of the box. All you got to do is upload your photos and make sure that you set up your site pages so that they're easy to navigate, right? And there are plenty of examples. I actually did a video about the 5 elements that need to be on every musician's website. So you should check that out in the YouTube card. But having a good website is going to do a few things, right? You can put that website in your bio on social media so people can click through and learn more about you. It's a space that you control, so you can control that customer experience. You can control what it looks like when people go on the website. And when you're sending your stuff out to curators, to music promoters, to party promoters and event planners, you can send them to your website and they can see exactly what you're all about. They can see your music, they can see what effort you put into your content, and they will be the first to say, wow, the other artist that reached out to me didn't have a website and it didn't look as good as this, right? There's something to this guy. So, absolutely create a website, yourname.com, and for even more or even better tips, right, you can actually make sure that your website URL matches the name on your social media handle. So for example, I create content as BJ Kicks, right? And my website is bjkicksmusic.com. That's great, right? But what would be even better is if my Instagram handle was BJ Kicks and my website was bjkicks.com. Unfortunately, that one was taken. But so you need to put some thought into, okay, well, can I use the same URL here? Or can I go ahead and claim my website space and my social media profiles at the same time? That just makes it easier for people to find you when they're looking for you. So those were my 4 tips to help you stand out as an independent musician. I hope those tips were helpful. If so, do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. It helps other people to see the content. If you like this, then go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss out when I post again. And I'll see you in another video very soon. Until then, be safe, be well, keep dreaming, and work hard to make those music business dreams your reality. Peace.